Alright guys, so I Got a Feeling, the main riff. You have the tablature for it, but just a quick little hint for this one is you should try to keep your hand in one position the whole time while you're doing it, instead of trying to do it one finger at a time. So if you take your pinky and put it on the 5th fret on the A right there, and you make an A chord kind of with your first finger, you take your lazy finger and the 3rd finger, that's the one that's going to go on the D string in the 4th fret, and your middle finger is going to cover that 3rd fret note on the B. So you'll take those two off and on while the rest of the chord kind of stays there. So you've got this riff that's like, like that. So, and if you can hammer that on too, specifically like that, it sounds kind of nice. It might not be exactly what he's doing, but I kind of like it. But the actual written riff, like that, but I like the hammer on. So that's that riff. Now you'll notice there's a triplet thing right before it goes into the chorus, and it's this cool little, it's a version of an A7 that is kind of nice. So you've got your first finger on the D string in the 7th fret, your 3rd finger on the G in the 9th fret, and your middle finger on the B in the 8th fret. And you can hit it, it's triplets, it's 1, 2, 3. Kind of like that, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I like sliding into it too, so, you know. And then it goes into the chorus riff, which is, we can have one guitar doing some nice rhythm, E, G, D. But the actual riff, if you listen to the guitar, so 0, 2, 3, 4, 0, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, and then back into that again. So that's the kind of verse, chorus, riff, the triplet thing. You'll notice sometimes too the triplets go down frets if you listen to it at a few different points. You can't have everyone doing it, it's just one. I think it was just George doing kind of that backwards and moving it back up again. You could do that with the A7. Okay. A little bridge part where he does the E to G7 to D7 back to A7. You can play those straight up. Oh. Okay, so there is a bridge part where he plays the E7 to the D7. You can play that part straight up as open. You'll notice there's that little held note that he kind of bends for a long time on 8th notes, so it's the 7th fret on the G string. And then he falls back into the A pentatonic in that 5th fret. And there's lots of, you know, you could play around with that a little bit. The other thing is that while that chord is going during that bridge section, while we're doing those 3 chords, if you listen, there is a specific little George part that's on the top of that. It kind of fiddles around the 10th fret, and then to the 7th and 8th, and then just to the 8th. So it's almost a little pentatonic kind of fooling around with, and there's a few of you that'll want to figure that out, I'm sure. So that's the bridge part and the end of the bridge. You know, the other thing is that during that verse, so as not to have every single person playing the same thing, there, of course, you could just straight up A to D. You could bar chord it in the 5th fret. It's certainly not an excuse to do that, though, because you can't do the main riff. I expect everyone to do the main riff. It's not a hard riff, and it's a great riff. You really should learn it. So that's what I want to do with this. So the keyboard riff for this, for the verse, is a really neat little riff. It's based around an A7 and a D7, but the riff is you hammer on, kind of, it's a grace note, and then go to a D, a second inversion D, and kind of throw that G in, which is like the suspended part. So this is during that verse. I've got a feeling, feeling deep inside. And then everything else you can kind of match us in, you know, just straight up. All the other chords just kind of 1 and 2, 1 and 2 like that. Just try to add 7s to everything. G7, D7. Okay, and any filling that you want to do is going to be based around the A blues scale, or based around that A7 chord combined with the A blues scale.